Hi guys, welcome back. So I've not actually finished a book yet, so this is not one of those. I am here to chat with you about my reading sprints, which I'm about to dive into for the night. So I actually did participate in somebody else's reading sprint yesterday. That was fun. I don't think that's something that I'm going to be set up to do for a while. Especially since I'm not really set up to do live streams yet, so that might not happen for a while. But in the meantime, what I do when I'm doing reading sprints by myself is actually something called reading relays. And folks that have interacted with me before in the Dewey's Readathon groups probably have heard of this before. I've sort of forced it on everybody before. With varying success. I think some people really liked it, but it can get complicated to explain in text to large numbers of people. But what I'm going to be doing tonight is I've got several categories, each one of which is headed up by a book that I am actually currently reading, like actively reading. So, the way this works is, let's say I've picked this book, my library book currently, A Spell of Good Things, which I made some progress on. The bookmark hasn't moved that much, but it's moved. So to make a category, I'm going to pick a couple other books that are related to it in some way. In this case, it's just my library books. This is a category. So when I'm reading category 1, I'll be reading this book until this book is done. And then if I still have time in that sprint and I'm still on that category, I start the next book in the category. Like a relay. You hand it off to the next book in the category. My second category is in sci-fi fantasy. I am reading Echoes in Time. I actually was just reading it just a few minutes ago. And then the other books in its category are Conan the Adventurer and Ray Bradbury, From the Dust Returned. So I will read Echoes in Time when it is category 2. And if I finish Echoes in Time before that sprint is done, I'll switch to the next book. So probably Conan the Adventurer, because I've already started it. So I might as well, finish it before starting yet another book. I have a really bad habit of starting books and then starting more books and never actually finishing the books, which is why my currently reading is so long. Anyway, next category is the murder mysteries category, in which I've been reading Kathy Reich's Fatal Voyage, and I will also be reading Tea with the Black Dragon and They Found Him Dead as the other books in this category. So if I'm reading category 3 and I finish the Kathy Reich's book, I'll start on one of the others. And the fourth category I'll be playing with for tonight is kind of general fiction, kind of nerdy fiction, for which I have my 2001 list books and Depths of Glory, the historical novel. It's a biographical novel about Camille Pissarro. So the one I actually have been most actively reading is the Camille Pissarro book. So I will be reading it. If I finish it, then I can jump to one of the other two. This is the one where I might jump to one of the other two anyway, because the Depths of Glory book is huge. I don't expect to finish it tonight. So I can decide to switch within the category to reading one of these other ones. American Pastoral is 2/3 of the way done, so I might actually finish that tonight. But I have made significant progress in Depths of Glory. Yesterday I finished about 50 pages, so I might want to be on a roll and read some more of that. So the way it works then is I do 30 to 60 minute long sprints. And each sprint, I switch category. So if I start on category 1 for sprint 1, however long I decide that sprint's going to be, that's the category I'm pulling from for that sprint period. I don't get to look at the other books that I'm currently reading, just that category. So category 1 is those library books. That will be what I'm reading for sprint 1. Sprint 2 is category 2. So I will only be reading books from the category 2 for that sprint. So just the sci-fi fantasy books, just Andre Norton for now. And then category 3, sprint 3, I'll be reading Kathy Reichs. When I finish Kathy Reichs, I'll move on to one of the others. In category 4, sprint 4, I will be reading either Depths of Glory or American Pastoral, and then switching to one of the others if I finish it during that sprint. And then you start over. Sprint 5 would be back to category 1, unless, and here's where you get a little flexibility. If while you're reading, you are so into a particular book that you really just don't want to switch, you can always decide to extend that category to another sprint. So I've had ones where I got so into a book that I hadn't even been in the mood to pick up, but all of a sudden it just clicks that night, and I finished the book in one night, in 3 or 4 sprints worth of reading, and just give up switching books entirely till I finish it. That does happen, and that's one of the things I like about this game, because you don't necessarily know what you're in the mood for until you really get into the mindset of long reading time. And sometimes the books that you've been picking up are why you're in a reading slump, or why you're not reading as quickly or as comprehensively as you'd like, because the books you think you should want to read or that you think you should read are not the book that clicks, that you really love reading when you're reading it. So that's what I'm going to be doing tonight, and we'll see if I finish any of them, but I should make significant progress in these. I may track my success or progress on Goodreads. I do like how that format works with posting the picture of the book, and so I'll probably do that. But that's all I'll be doing tonight. If that sounds like fun, I highly recommend that you try reading relays as a reading game. It's especially good if you are in a slump, or if you really just don't know which book you're in the mood to pick up right now. And you can have as many categories as you want. You can make your categories as numerous as you want. Sometimes I'll do a week-long reading relay. So at that point, I might make the categories 5 books instead of 3, so that I have a little bit more room. Like, if I made a stack of 5 Conan books and I'm suddenly really in the mood for Conan, I might finish all 5 books in that week. That does happen. And I've had several series where I made stacks out of them for relays, and ended up finishing the whole thing and continuing in the series because I just got that into it. Yeah, so that's reading relays. Lots of fun. I will probably post an update tomorrow with how it went, and hopefully what I finished, because I am kind of hoping to finish at least a book tonight. So have a good reading evening, and I will talk to you soon.